Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Down Low. My name is Mike Terezzo. Joel?
I'm Joel Lowe. Hey, welcome. Good day.
So, good day. So, we want to talk about the evolution of phishing. Um, Phishing is still like one of the number one ways where organizations or people get breached, lose information, so on and so forth. But it's gotten different, and and I hate to say it, but it's improved and it's gotten better,
So you're
and
not you're not
sneakier.
talking about you're not talking about with my taco box and my fishing pole and putting
No,
the
no,
worm
no,
on
no,
there.
no, no.
Oh, okay.
Those have
How about
gotten
the
better
evolution
too,
of fishing? They have because back in the day
right?
it was like a
They have
bamboo
gotten better.
stick and yeah,
They get the little fish with the little motors
the
in them.
little
They move
worm.
now.
Yeah,
I don't even fish. And I know about this stuff, but no, but email, social engineering, and email has gotten better.
yeah.
And Joel and I were figured, because we've been getting a slew of them lately. I've been getting them in my email, I'm getting them in my text messages, and getting in this. We
Yes.
figured we'd talk about this because this seemed like it was pretty important, and it's Cybersecurity Awareness Month coming up in October, and it'd probably be a
It
good
is.
idea to get this out here. So
And
Joel,
they just came out and said that all of the major brands are gonna start doing their Christmas, pushing out their ads and stuff early. So we kind
yeah,
of want to get in front of that as well. So you're gonna see a slew of attempts, right, of people trying to get
right,
your attention, right?
right,
And some of them are going to be good and some of them are going to be bad. So
right,
if you know Amazon and Best Buy and Walmart and all the other box stores are going to start sending you stuff to let you know that hey, Black Friday is actually going to be sooner than when it usually is. You're probably going to then get a lot of people who are going to spoof that to try to get your attention because ransomware is number one, right?
yeah,
Phishing is number one
right,
when it comes to attacks. So be prepared, and that's kind of what we want to talk about today.
yeah. So let's talk about what a phishing email is first. Let's go old school. Let's talk about it. So it's still the number one method, and I hate to say it, it's also the easiest method, right? These things are so easy to create,
Yep,
just like sending an email, and all you need to
yep.
do is find the right person to click it. And honestly, all you need to do is send it to 1,000 people. And what did we say the average click rate? So the average click rate isn't just who opens the email, right? So when we say click
Right,
rate, we're not talking who opens the email. You have to open an email to see what the email is, right?
correct.
Sometimes you can't just go by the subject line and everything else. You don't know who sent it without opening the email sometimes. Click rate is actually if you click on a link inside the email or you open an attachment or you do something, you add a download or you turn on a macro or things like that. That's what they mean by click rate, right?
Hmm.
And that's really when the attack really begins, right? In earnest, when you actually your defenses need to be up and running. They should be up and running to before then, before you see the email and you're like, I don't know 42197 at hotmail.com. Why are they sending me a free Yeti cooler from
Right.
Dick's Sporting Goods? You should immediately see that and report that as a phishing email or send it to junk. But yeah, so that click rate is 12%. So 100 people get sent this email, 12 people will click on that link. 12 and then I think it's something like 4 or 5% will actually put in their credentials, right?
Right.
So that's out of every 100 people, 4 or 5 people will actually give up their credentials, right? That's pretty significant. And so you're in the financial industry, Joel. Would you know what that is in the financial industry?
I want to say it's higher than that, right?
Yeah,
And
because you
it's
guys get
it's
a lot of
crazy.
email.
Right.
Yeah.
So the crazy thing about it is, I saw where, and I can't remember if I was talking with you or somebody else, where they had set up a ice cream truck outside, and of course they had the rules from the company to do this credential harvesting, and literally they were giving out free ice cream if you put in your username, password,
Oh
right?
my God.
And one person did it, went inside with their ice cream, and it spread like wildfire. And they were able to collect all this information, right, of people's username and password. And immediately at the same time as they were receiving that information, their hackers were then using it to go into the network, right? And of course, this was a planned exercise, but everybody would do anything for something free. without even thinking about the fact of what they were giving up. It was like, all I gotta do is just put in my username and password and I get whatever ice cream I want. Oh, this is beautiful, right? And
That's
no,
genius.
it was so smart
Oh
and
my
it worked
gosh.
so well,
Yeah,
right?
that's
And,
pretty
and
good.
and immediately all you're looking for is that one person with the right credentials, right?
Right.
Elevated privileges that have access to either PII or health information, the juicy stuff.
Yeah.
And then you grab that, right? And then you move from there. And luckily, within this attack, they ended up putting like a folder. That's usually what happens when you're doing an exercise of this nature. You don't want them really stealing PII or PHI. You will put a folder there, and you're like, if you can get to this folder, if you can write to
Right.
this folder, then you can get to, our sensitive information. And they were there within seconds of setting up this ice cream truck, right?
That is crazy. That's good. And that's genius. I used to do social engineering and pen testing for a living. That is genius. I
I
never
mean,
would have
it's a,
thought
a
about that.
hot day. You
Yeah.
pull up right when it's break time, kind of,
Meet.
and,
Yeah.
and you just and somebody walk up and be like, "Hey, man, how much is it? It's free. All you do is put in your username, password.
Yeah.
It's a gift from the company."
We just need to make sure you're an employee of the company.
And that,
Everybody's
and
going to walk
that's
up and try and get free ice cream. Because if you don't mind just signing into this iPad with a username and password,
that's it.
holy cow.
It literally was, "Hey, we just got to verify that you're an employee, and your username and password will do that." Right?
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. Hey, you're good. And it just turned
Yeah.
green when they did the thing. And it was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. My best is still the free Chick-fil-A sandwich. I think that would top it. I think that's
It feels
probably a
nice.
70%, 50%, click rate. And at that point it's who's out on vacation, who's too busy to come out of the building, right? It's
Right.
50, 60% of the people are still going to come out of the building and be like, I want a free ice cream cone.
And
Dang.
they did no advertising. Literally, people go in and be like, "Where you get the ice cream from?" "Oh yeah, the food
Right.
truck, man. The company
Right.
provided it for us. You just got to give them your, log in to verify, and they'll give you one." Oh,
I apologize in advance to everybody in my company that I'm going to use this tactic on next summer. I
got to,
apologize emphatically in
got to.
advance. I have to try this.
And guess what? It will still
Sorry.
work. It will still work. Even
look at me. Still gonna work.
Still gonna work.
Still gonna work. I'm gonna get one of you. One of you I'm
Oh,
going to get.
easily, I think you're gonna get more than that, right? And it's just like, what are we doing, right? So again, the reason why phishing works so well, or why it's number one, is because it works.
Yeah,
It literally works,
It works.
right? Why go away? Why reinvent the wheel when it works, right?
Yeah, and it's low cost for an attacker, right? It's absolutely low cost. It's labor.
Yep.
That's all it is. How much time do you want to invest in it? And it's gotten so good. Like honestly, I see these things, and if you don't see who it's coming from, and sometimes you say, oh, it says, bank of so and so, oh, that's my bank because you bank
Right.
with one of the top 5 banks in the world. Oh, that's my bank. But if you have to look in the parentheses and it says XY417217 at gmail.com, and you're like,
Right.
okay. But if you don't see that in the brackets, you're like, it's coming from my bank. So you got to make sure. The links, some like, oh my gosh, the Yeti cooler from Dick's Sporting Goods. Sorry, Dick's Sporting Goods in advance. I'm going to talk
Don't
about
sue
you a
us.
little bit in this.
Yeah.
Sorry, don't sue us. You and Mattel. But in this phishing email, it's just a picture. It says click here. The whole picture is the hyperlink, right? So it's really hard to tell, like, where's the hyperlink embedded in this? It's the whole thing. The whole email is, you click anywhere on there, it's taking you right to this.
I mean, I've even seen it where it was an email that I wanted to read, right? Because I'm trying to figure out what it is, and a hyperlink of a picture popped up in front of it, and there's an X in the corner to move the picture. It's not to remove the picture. It was so ingenious. It's actually the hyperlink to be able to then put in the ransomware or the credentials or whatnot, because you're going to try to click it to move it out the way so I can read the email. Right.
Yes, I want to get rid of my viruses.
Right. So you look at, I'm looking at it and I'm like, what in the world? So as I hover over the X, it didn't do what it's supposed to do. And I was like, this is pretty ingenious. Like this is It's special. And again,
And-
they're getting better. They're
oh
getting
yeah,
so
and
much
we're
better.
trained. You and I are trained. Like yeah,
I've
I've
taken a
got
lot of
privileged
training.
accounts.
Right.
I'm under attack a lot. And to be
Yeah.
honest, I like LinkedIn. Man, I get people sending me LinkedIn invites, and I'm nice try, foreign threat actor. You're not today.
Yeah,
But
I get a
yeah,
lot
I
of
like.
those.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
uh,
I have a false sense of reality of who I think I look like. If if a lot
I'm
of the
very popular, and I'm
yeah, I'm
like, I'm
very
not that
popular.
popular. Not that popular, people.
I've seen the subscription counts on our YouTube channel. I know they're not that popular.
I'm not that
Certainly
popular,
not.
people.
Yeah, certainly not in the countries we're getting these things from. So just
Exactly.
let's talk about this. So this has gone steadily up, and I'll post the link to these things. 2016, the clicked rate, people who actually clicked on the link, was about 3.5%, right? 2.5, 3%. People who did not click and reported this was about 4.5%. And
Right.
whereas the numbers for people who did not click have significantly gone up because people are getting savvy to this is a whoa, this is a real thing.
Right. Right.
Unfortunately, the number of people that actually click the link is also going up at the same rate, right? It's not exactly a hockey stick, as they say, but it's still so. From 2016, you're at 2.5%. At 2021, it's 9.75.
Right.
If you have 1,000 people in your company, it's 97 people click that link and put in their credentials.
It only
All
takes
it
one.
takes is one, just one. It's terrifying.
Right. It only takes one.
Yeah,
It's the scariest thing ever. Right. And when it comes to quantifying the risk, right,
yeah.
it only takes one. Right. The average cost of a breach is 4.35 million.
That's
35
crazy.
million.
And
Right.
and phishing's the start, right? It's not
Right.
the only. They're not just there to get your credentials. Sometimes it's so that you can execute something. What was you said something about ransomware? It was a crazy number.
So once you the phishing to get in, then it usually turns into ransomware. So 1 in 4 of those then turn into ransomware. One in
Wow.
four. And
So
the average cost of a payout for ransomware is 800,000.
it's pretty significant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
almost $1 million, right?
yeah.
And then to remediate that ransomware without even the payout is 4.5 million.
Wow. So we're
Right,
talking 5.5, $6 million.
right,
That doesn't include reputational damage. So from a company perspective, about 6 million, five to $6 million short of reputational damage, right? Like
right,
short of the people that aren't going to do business
right.
with it. And no one wants to harp on Target, you know, but it happened, right?
It
Anthem,
did happen.
Anthem managed things the right way. They've gotten better. And
I just
people,
got another letter from Anthem. I lie to you not. I just opened up some mail this
oh really?
morning, and it
It's
was like, hey, something happened in April. Here's some free, credit monitoring thing. And I was just
no
like,
way.
wow. So it's just funny that we're literally talking about this, and I have the letter
Yeah,
behind me on my desk, right, to
yeah.
sign up for another credit subscription monitoring service, right?
Stuff.
But before we move further, let's go over ransomware real quick.
Yeah.
We throw that
Okay.
out, and I hate to do that to people.
You're right.
So we went over phishing. Let me tell you what ransomware is. So ransomware is literally what it sounds like, right? You click on something, right? So we talked about how phishing comes in. You click on it, immediately it locks your computer up, right? Your files, everything. If you have shared files, it'll lock that up as well. And then something pops up and says, hey, we would love to help you get your stuff back, right? And because we're so nice, here's a number that you can call, and we'll walk you through how to get cryptocurrency to pay us our ransom to give you back
Right.
your stuff, right?
That's nice of them.
And it's nice of them. And they have the nicest people on the line, and they're like, hey, let's take our time and let's go through it. Let me help you set up your crypto account. This
Right.
is how you do it. And hey,
Right.
this is how you're going to transfer your money over to it and to get it to us. Literally, that's how that works, right?
It's a
So,
multi-billion-dollar business. It's a
right,
multi-million. It's a business. Like the mafia to my Sicilian brothers and sisters. Everybody, my last name is president here. That's a business. As ugly and terrible as drug dealing is a business. This is a business. It's a criminal enterprise, but it is a business, and it
It's
is
a
a
business.
multi-billion-dollar business, right? And we see the things that are reported as ransomware. There are things we don't know that are
Right.
ransomware. Like people pay these things, and like, let's just shut up about it and not report it.
Let's not
Um,
talk about it.
let's
Right.
not talk about it. The average ransomware payment is 800K, right? 100 of these a year, that's almost, it's 800 million, right? 100 of
That's
those.
that's a nice chunk of
So,
change.
yeah, 100 of those happened last month.
And
But,
the thing is that people always talk about, well, when it comes to paying it, how do you know they're going to release your data? But they're going to, because they don't want to ruin their reputation
because it's a
of
business.
it's a business, right? It's not personal.
Yeah.
You give me my money, I'll give you back your stuff. It
Yeah.
it is it's honor amongst thieves, I guess you could say. It's
Right.
very interesting, right? And the
Yeah.
thing about it is, as a security professional, you have two options, and this is in your personal life and in companies, right? So my personal life, I back up my stuff to an external drive. We've talked about that in
Offline.
previous
Yeah.
previous podcast, right, of ours, right? So I have something I plug in, I can transfer all my data, my pictures, things that are important over to this external drive, and I unplug it. So if I get ransomware on my computer, it won't affect my external drive because it's not
Right.
plugged up to my computer,
Right.
right? So then what I can do is I can wipe that complete system and restore it, right? And then I can pull all of those important data and things that I wanted back over if I needed to. But if you don't have good backups, and that goes in your personal life, in your corporate life, well, you got some decisions to make, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're hard decisions at this point. It's either we pay or we wipe and we wipe with no reload, right? So
Right.
it's not we
We start
reload
over.
from our latest backup. We literally start over, right?
Yeah.
Because there's no way of getting that encryption key without them giving it to you. And
Yeah.
I've never even seen anybody try to hack it to brute force to get their information back. I don't
Yeah.
even know if that's a thing,
So,
right? I
so
don't
there
even,
are some websites, if there are websites out there that are helping people out of the kindness of their heart. I'll try and find that and post that in the link in the comments and in the YouTube section. It's not perfect. Like I think out
right.
of the 15, 20 clients I had in the last 6 years prior to me turning over to the other side of the table, I think I helped out one or two.
Right.
Like they used a crappy version of ransomware to attack them. I was able to find something that could break the encryption. Um, the best
But yeah, but you're
encryption,
also going with
unfortunately,
time. Like you're
yeah,
also running up against time, right? Time is
right,
money, right?
yeah.
So
If
you
you
saw that
don't
with
pay me,
the gas pipeline, right? After a while, it became the return on investment of trying to
right,
figure out. It just was cheaper to pay them,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
It really
yeah,
was, and
we're
even
losing
then,
memory.
it was millions of dollars, and they got some of it back, but they still were able to keep like 2.5 million.
Yeah,
That's a great attack for them. That's
yeah,
a great day. That's a great win, right?
yeah,
So my thing is, you could try to defeat the encryption, but time is money. How much time do we have to be able to like invest in trying to do that, right?
right,
And who has the technology to be able to do that, right? Because that's
right,
not something you have on staff just sitting there, right?
right.
Hey, let me call up Mike, he's gonna defeat this, right? That's somebody we have to bring in from somewhere else, right? to
Yeah,
to figure that out with tools and techniques, brute force, rainbow tables. Like, there's a lot going on into trying to defeat the encryption.
yeah.
It's a lot of work, right?
And to be honest, like if it's an asymmetrical key, meaning the keys don't match, you
AES,
need a
yep,
different key to match it. Uh, if I'm the attacker and you don't pay, and I go, okay, so I have two choices as an attacker. I can delete the key and I lose out on my investment and you lose out on your data. We both walk away as losers. Or
or
I tell you in 48 hours, if you don't pay me, I'm publishing all this data to the public. And if you're a healthcare company or somebody that deals with, personal identifiable information or intellectual property, right? If lives are at stake or intellectual property is at stake, they got you,
right,
right? And so,
right,
I had a manufacturing company get wiped. They rotated their Azure key and had the new Azure key. They only had one account and they rotated that key and they owned the key. They didn't even need to encrypt anything. They basically just locked the building and locked everybody out of the building. I was like, Jiminy Christmas. And it like that. They rotated the key like that. They came in, took in, no multi-factor authentication, which we'll talk about that in a second. And it was in second. They didn't. So when you have ransomware, it's not instantaneous. It happens in the background unbeknownst to you, but it has to build all these encryption files and replace them one to one. They didn't have to do that in this case. And I think you had something about cloud attacks. You were mentioning something in the green room about cloud attacks. What was that number? I missed that.
It was talking about with some of the breaches that 45% of them were in the cloud. And the reason why was 45% of them hadn't implemented all their security features within the cloud. So what you're seeing is people moving to the cloud, right? So we're now in the cloud, but then not taking the time to implement the security features that the cloud offers, right? We'll get back to it. And we just want to get this up and running. And that is terrible. That is just as bad as not using MFA, multi-factor authentication. Right.
So let's now that we've mentioned MFA multiple times, let's go ahead and talk about that.
Right. So multi-factor authentication is a way of verifying who you are, and then have an additional step. Right. So every time you go to the ATM, you're using a simpler version of multi-factor. Something you have, something you know. Right. So something you have is your card, right? Your ATM card. Something you know is your PIN. Right. Then next thing you can have is sometimes biometrics is another one, right? So it could be your iris, your eye scan, your fingerprints. You do that with your phone, right? To authenticate to get into it. Also, too, it could be where you are, right? So it could be your username, your password, and then your location, right? I'm in this certain spot, so it knows who I am, or it can be a combination of those two, and then we send you a one-time password through text message, through an RSA token. I know Google has that as well, that whenever I log into my email, it will say, what's your, it'll pop up and say, are you this person trying to get in? I'll say, yes, I am. And it gives me access into it. And it happens seamlessly in the background, but that's multi-factor authentication. So
and one of the things that we've also seen is it's MFA fatigue, right? So where I don't know if any some things sends you a notification that says, hey, notice you were trying to log in, just click yes or click okay or click the checkbox or stuff like that. There are people that will attack you based on that and just keep hitting you with these things, and eventually you'll just go, for the love of Pete, just click go away.
Right.
And they got you. You've just authorized their access. So if you see things like that, absolutely change your password, because it shouldn't trigger that unless they have your username and password. That's kind of the last key of defense. So if you're starting to get a lot of those, you're like, whoa, I'm not logging in on anything.
Right.
Time to replace your password.
We're seeing that in the bank, where people through the fatigue are authorizing people to have access to their money, to their account.
Right.
And then they get wiped out, and then they come back to the bank. And, a lot of people will say, well, the bank will give you your money back, right, if you're part of this thing, but not if you give people access to your account, right? If you've given up your access, especially after we said, hey, here are all the things we put in place to protect you, and you then give somebody access to your account, they're not going to. It's just like when people send money through these different apps and they send it to the wrong person, and immediately they're like, oh no, I need to get my money back. No. That's why you see it pops up and say, you verify that this is the person you want to send it to. You're like, yes. We move so fast, right? We don't take time to slow down and say, let me make sure this is the person. Like, before I use any of these transfer apps, right, to send money, I always call the person. Hey, is this you? Right? This is what it looks like. Hey, is this the right number? They'll say yes. And then I usually send $1, right, to start off. Right. Hey, boom, see if you get this $1, right? Because if I lose $1, I'm okay, right? I lose hundreds of dollars, I'm not going to be happy. And I'm
not going to be okay.
Not going to be okay. So I send $1, right, or a test. And you see that with other banks, when you set up your automatic drive or things of that nature, they'll pop a couple of cents in there to make sure it works. and then
Right.
take it back out, right?
Right.
And if the banks do that, maybe you should do that as well.
Right.
It does not hurt to say, I'm going to send you $1. Let me know if you got it. Oh, I did
Yeah.
get it, man. Okay, it is you. Boom,
Yeah.
send it over.
Yeah. It's
Does
like
not hurt.
mailing
Nope.
cash to somebody, right? If you mail cash to somebody, you're not going to get that cash back if you put the wrong address in there,
That is a
right?
great example. Yes.
That's what you did.
Or if somebody just rips it open and takes the money out. I mean, like, hey,
There's
don't
that.
mail cash. Don't mail cash.
Yeah.
Use a check. Right?
Yeah.
Don't, like, no, stop.
Yeah.
No. Hey, and the prince is not. There's no prince from Africa that
You know,
needs
it's
your
going to
help.
pay out one day. You keep saying that. It's going to pay out one
It's
day.
not. It's not, people. It's not.
Bill Gates is going to send me $1 million.
He's
No,
not.
he's not. No,
I promise he's not. I literally went into my bank and there was a huge banner, and I think I've said this before, where it was like, there is no prince that is going to send you money from Ghana, right? It's just no. And it was just huge, and I was like,
what about Nigeria?
No, Nigeria either. Like, there's no prince that needs your help to get their money. No.
And we talked about it. Like, I talked about going into Home Depot, and Home Depot was like, look, the IRS is not going to ask you for iTunes gift cards. please stop buying it. And like, man, if Home Depot is taking it onto themselves, and I appreciate Home Depot doing this.
Right.
If Home Depot is taking it on themselves to say, please don't do this for the attackers, we can't help you. Once you buy the gift cards, you bought the gift cards. We loaded the money on there. We took your money and we kept a small percentage of it and loaded it on the gift card. We can't help you. The money's in the gift card that you gave to them.
I got a real life story, right?
Okay.
So we get a hacker who spams my company, right?
Okay.
And he spams one of the executives, pretty high up executives, and he is ticked off. He is mad. So he comes in, he said, Joe, we're gonna get them. Right. And I was like, no, we're good. We found them. We isolated them. I appreciate you reporting it to us. We're good. No. I've been talking to him through text, right? And we're gonna meet up. We're gonna do a sting. And there's some people in the parking lot. And I was like, no. I don't think we should do that, right? It was in Texas. And I was like, no, I think we should just go ahead. We isolate them off the network. We're good to go. No, Joe, we're gonna handle it. Okay. I said, I have given my advice. I don't think we should do anything. So they're reaching out to a friend of theirs that works in the police department in that local area. And they're going to meet them in this parking lot. And one of our employees down there goes to the store and buys gift cards. Right. No. And they're texting with this guy, right, who they're supposedly going to catch that lives in this area. And he says, hey, I just want to verify before I get there. I need you to scratch the back of them and take a picture of them, right? So that I know you got them. $3,000 later, right? He never shows up, right? After these pictures of these Amazon gift cards, right? And I get a phone call. It's like 8 o'clock at night from my executive. Joe, what happened? I was like, why would he show up when y'all already gave him?
You gave him
all the information. You gave him the money. He was like, and we look on the cars, they're empty.
Yeah.
Yes. So you literally just spent $3,000, right, for something I told you was already taken care of because you wanted to make a point to get somebody. Right. There is no point, right? There is no point. Again, people, nobody's gonna have you pay something. With a gift card. It's just not.
Yeah, it's not. No.
They're not.
Nothing legit, right? Legitimate.
Nothing legit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I even had, like I said before, I had somebody call my grandmother and say, hey, Joel is locked up.
Yeah.
We need to get him locked. We need to get him out. Got to pay for his lawyer, right? You need to go get some gift cards.
His lawyer has decided to take Home Depot gift cards.
Right. And my thing is, I'm like,
it's not
but
funny.
The thing, it isn't, but it works on people, right? So they're trying to figure out what that is, and immediately it's like, hey, we got to go now because they're going to arraign him, and if we don't get him out before this, he's going to have to spend the weekend there, right?
Right.
And it's like, oh, let me get Joel out because
not my baby.
It could be believable that Joel might have got locked up, right? Who knows, right?
What kind of weekend is, ladies and gentlemen, I need to be absolutely clear. I don't hang out with Joel. I'm not sure what Joel does on the I'm
You
pretty
know,
sure Joel's not going to
things,
jail
things could have
doing
been a
Joel
little
Love
wild.
stuff. Right.
Things could have been wild. Who knows,
Right.
right?
Your grandmother has a slightly off point of view. All
Right.
right. Yeah.
But
It's what it is.
the thing is, it was because certain things where she was like,
Yeah.
that doesn't make sense, right? So I get a phone call and I'm like,
Good.
no, I'm here. I'm
Right.
at work, right? Like, hey, I was in a meeting. That's why I didn't pick up the phone. Like, I'm not in jail, right?
Yeah.
But again, when you got all these people calling you because somebody is trying, and literally they were going to step her through, right?
Yeah.
The whole process.
Yeah.
We'll wait on the line for you as you
Right.
go into the store. We'll tell you which ones to pick, right?
Yeah.
Hey, after you purchase them, this what we'll do, and then we're like they had a whole script on what they were going to do. And I'm just like, no. But I also love playing with people like that. Like when they call me, oh, I love that. I
Yeah.
have so much fun.
Yeah.
Oh no, for real?
I
Okay, let me run through that. Okay, you want to
I
get into the
used to do
computer?
that.
No, I send it again. What?
Right.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Like I saw a video where the guy reversed their connection and got into the cameras, and
Right.
then started
And took
describing them.
pictures.
Right? It was like, yo, why are you sitting there beside? And he could like zoom in. And he was like the
Right.
name, and she was like, "Who are you? What are you
Right.
doing?" It's
I'm
neither here nor
Batman.
there. I feel like we're getting off topic, but I love those there. Where I'm
Yeah.
always like, oh,
Yeah. They're
I
fun.
wish I had those skills to be able
Yeah.
to reverse it back to be like, I see you.
Right.
I know where you live.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
but again, you just don't know, right? The whole thing is to cause some kind of reaction, right? Some
Right.
kind of panic. Is to bring some kind of emotion to make you do something right now, right? And that's when you need to stop and pause for a second.
Right.
Anything that's like, hey, did you authorize for $2,000 to be transferred out of your account? No. Well, we need right now for you to log in and make sure that we stop this because somebody is in your account doing, and you immediately, okay, let me, no,
Use this link.
no,
Yeah.
right. Here's the link we're going to send you, right? Because we're your bank, so we have your access. It looks like a legitimate link that you would get from your bank, but we spoof that number,
Yeah.
right? You're used to looking in that text stream and you see this comes from your bank every time you log in. What you don't know is we spoof the number, right? So it looks like it's coming from them, but it's not. You authorize it. You just gave me access to your, and while I'm still on the phone with you, I am transferring money out of your account.
Yeah. I'm draining your coffers. Yeah.
Right. And then I'm going to tell you, oh, we missed it, right? There's no money in here. So what we need now is for us to be able to do this, we're going to need $500 to be able to put this defense in to try to help, move this money back.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I got another account. Okay, I'm going to send you a link, right? You put in your information for that. We'll just transfer that money out to pay us,
True.
but we'll then do that. And then they
Right.
drain that account, right? And
Yeah.
they just keep going until after a while you're like, oh, that doesn't make sense. And
Yeah.
by then it's what we call too late.
Too late. Too late. Yeah. And that's worse. Like I've seen that happen a lot lately and take advantage of people. There's some really
Yeah.
just awful human beings out there that take advantage of people,
Yep.
that don't make a lot of money, that don't do this. And it's just like, come on.
Yep.
Right. It's a shame. It's a shame that
It is.
we've come to that. All right, let's talk some things here. Changing passwords. We should add this as a takeaway. Changing passwords.
Yeah.
It used to be every 90 days change your password. What they say now is make it longer and more complex.
Right.
Right. The longer and more complex a password is, as long as it's not a dictionary word, the harder it is for somebody to what they call brute force or try it multiple times until they get it right.
Yep.
Don't make a password anything about you that I can easily look up. No
Yep.
dogs' names, no children's names, no children birth dates, nothing like that. Has to be
Yep.
something. Don't do it. Guitars, wolf, lion.
Yeah.
Please don't write a password like that. You can use
Podcast.
it as
Yeah.
long as you don't have
Yeah.
guitars and a lion and a wolf hanging above your head. Write a password about it. But I'm not going
Right.
to write a password about that because that one's probably
Right.
easy to hack. Um,
Right.
if you have the access to multi-factor authentication, most websites do nowadays. If it has anything that has sensitive information, banking, credit card, investment, healthcare, things like that, there is a multi-factor authentication. It will send you a text message. It will have
Yes.
you set something up. There are good directions on this. Maybe we'll have a podcast about how to set up multi-factor authentication on
Yes.
your phone or something. That might actually be a good idea. But just create a complex password, have multi-factor authentication. Joe,
Yep.
what do you got?
Oh, I was going to say too. I'm seeing companies now offer the voice authentication as well,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah,
they'll say, "Hey, we want to set up your voice." They'll have you say a couple of different sentences or words,
right,
and now when you authenticate, you just will say back what it is to them, and it makes it so that it's another different type of authentication. Use multi-factor. It
right.
is a lifeline. It will
It's a
save you,
lifeline. Yeah,
right?
passwords are useless.
We're talking about within your email account, right? There's a report fish button, right? There's a way to report if a fish comes in, right? And you
Right,
have to use those algorithms to help, Google or whoever you use, Hotmail, figure out what is good and what is bad, right? So deleting it on your phone is not going to help that system. You literally have to log in, and I know that takes time.
right,
Log into your email account and click on it and say these are phishing, right? This is spam. This is junk, right?
right,
So that when it comes back in, it will go ahead and just send it to the delete folder. You don't even
right.
get to see it, right? Which reduces your landing for clicking on a fish,
Your
right?
potential. Yeah, yeah.
Right, your potential for it. So please make sure you do that. Please, it's not hard, and I can't stress enough. Enable multi-factor authentication. At this point,
Yeah,
if you're not using multi-factor authentication, I don't know what to tell you, right?
yeah.
And that's company wide. If you're in your company and all you do is put in a password and your username, you need to go talk to somebody and say, hey, this doesn't make sense to me. Why
Yeah,
in 2022 are we not using multi-factor authentication,
right.
right? And there's nothing they can tell you that's a good reason, right? At
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
It's only a matter of time, people,
It really
before
is.
you're on the
It
news.
really is. Before you make a mistake or you put in a password that's easy to find out or
Yep,
recognize, or or you have that same password in another account and they get breached, right? Their
yep,
passwords get compromised. Now they can say, well, it's Mike's username or Mike's email address and this password. Let's go try this at this website or this banking
right.
website or this. Or, oh, he used the same password. Boom, you're done. So change your passwords regularly, right? Password managers help. Like
They
I
do
have
help.
one. I use one.
I
You
have
can
one.
actually use it to set up multi-factor authentication in the password
Sure
vault
can.
if you want to. So, um, we can talk about that in another show and go from there.
Yep.
Joel, any
So
other
that
closing thoughts or
No, that was our takeaways, man. Make sure you enable multi-factor authentication, right? Change your passwords regularly, right? And figure use the fish button. Make sure within your email accounts that you're kind of segregating or segregating what are good and bad emails, right? So that your system can learn, right, and be able to filter that to remove that, so that you now have a different landing page of what potentially you could click on.
there you
Lord,
go.
ugh,
Yeah,
ugh. Lord, what is going on?
there's a
Uh, other
lot.
than
That's a lot.
other than, other than that, man, knowing is half the battle.
Yep.
Once you know,
Yeah.
you can do.
Yeah. And once you understand, you don't win stuff unless you sign up for it. Magical money does not appear from the heavens for you. Uh,
Does not.
99.99999% of the time. I'm not going to say it doesn't, but
Right.
your odds of being killed by a Shih Tzu are never are low, but they're never zero. Just remember that for you Shih Tzu owners. But like it's just change your password. Take a look
Right.
at what you're looking at. Take a second. Take a deep breath.
Right.
This impacted one of my family members, and I said, take a deep breath. Did you do business with this organization? No, okay. You've never done business with this organization. No. How did they get your information? They said I just owe them money. And I'm like, you don't magically owe people money. You don't wake up and owing people money. And they're like,
Right.
oh. And you're like,
Right.
okay. I mean, it
Yeah.
happens. And they're like,
Yeah.
those sons of guns. And you're like, I know they're horrible, terrible people out there. Um,
Right.
But
Right.
I mean, we were looking at thousands of dollars. They were coming to me. This person was coming to me and asking me for large sums of money, and I'm like, I don't have it. I don't know what you think I do for a living. I got 16 subscribers on a podcast, dude.
Yeah. I'm 16. We need
Oh, you're right. We're
four
up.
more.
We're up from 12. Up from 12.
Right. We need
Thanks,
4 more
Grandma.
to get. Thank you,
My
Nam
grandmother's
Nam.
passed. Thank you, Nam Nam.
Nam Nam, thank you.
Nam Nam. All right. We're right off the right off the skids.
Why not, baby? Why not?
Yeah. So, all right. Thanks everyone for listening so far. Hopefully this was helpful to you all. If you have other topics, obviously please let us know. Joel and I sometimes
Sure.
struggle to come up with topics. Sometimes they're fed by current local events. Sometimes they're like, hey man, I got this phone call from one of my relatives or friends the other day.
Right.
But if
Right.
you have ideas, we're always willing to listen and help out. If you like the content, please feel free to hit like. Take 2 seconds, 30 seconds to just hit the like button, just so we know we're doing the right thing.
Right.
It's free for us to do this. It just takes our time to do it. We don't get paid. You need to have thousands of subscribers to make money. We're obviously nowhere near that. We do this for
Right.
fun and help people out.
One day, though. One day. I see the dream.
One day. And the moment we hit 1 million subscribers, I'm getting this tattooed on me. Probably in my chest. I'll do that for you all if we hit 1 million subscribers.
I don't know about on the chest, but I'll do it as well.
Joel says he'll get branded. right underneath his fraternity, just it's off center. It's you ever see that Keel and P? All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a wonderful day. Hit subscribe if you want. We put out new content at least every week. We've actually got extra content this time.
Yeah.
So it was great talking to you. Have a wonderful day. Thanks again.